Hey guys, I'm Adi Vaknin, and you're here with us in We're in the Biz, where we get to know your business and a little bit about your personal life. So today we have Sharon Sharaby from BSD Capital and Kush Collection. Hi, Sharon.
Hi, Adi. How are you? Thank you for inviting me to your podcast.
Of course, it's a pleasure. So we want to get to know a little bit about you, a little bit about what you do, how you got into it. Tell us everything.
Okay, you want to be a little specific? Where do you want me to
Yes,
start?
tell me about you. Tell me about yourself, your age, your family.
My name is Sharon Sharaby. I'm 48 years old. I am blessed with an incredible wife and six beautiful girls. The oldest is 10 years old. The youngest is 4.
Wow.
Yes, it's definitely a house full, and it's an incredible ride. It's
Amazing. Incredible. So tell us a little bit about how you got into BSD. You want to start with,
well,
maybe
well,
beginning of when you
well,
came to America.
BSD is 2.0. Really, first we started with Kush.
Right.
Kush Jewelers and Kush Collection, we started, our family comes from a line of jewelers. It's an incredible story, actually. In 1902, they were building the skyscrapers in New York, and the contractors were looking for welders, and they needed laborers. So they actually, believe it or not, they went to Yemen.
Mm-hmm.
And in Yemen, most of the Jews were jewelers. So when they asked, we need people who know how to weld. So they said, we know how to weld. They didn't know what they're welding,
Right.
between, soldering and welding is two different things, but, they said we weld. So my family came in 1902 to New York, and there were welders on some of New York skyscrapers that many of us visit today. And from there, when that was done, they continued in the jewelry business. And we have still family members in New York that still have incredible factories. My family migrated some of them back to Hollywood, Florida, and New York, and Hollywood, Florida. And I grew up with a father who was in the jewelry business as well. He manufactured to some of the biggest names in the industry. Some of them are not here anymore, such as Best, Home Shopping Club, QVC, Macy's East, Macy's West, Bloomingdale's, Home Shopping Club. You have Kay's Jewelers, Sterling. So all these service merchandise, all these big distributors at the time, my father with his uncle, they actually manufactured jewelry for those companies. And growing up in a jeweler's home, every summer you'd spend your time at the factory working and learning, all the ins and outs of how to create, how to cast, how to be a jeweler, how to polish, how to set diamonds, how to tell diamonds, qualities. So with that being said, then when I was, I think, 19 years old, I decided to open up Kush Jewelers. And that's when Kush Jewelers was created, when I was 19.
Amazing. So you started with jewelry, and how did it get you to where you are today? I mean, I'm sure you met a lot of incredible people in the business that, whether it's clients or vendors, how did it bring you to where you are today?
So, in life, you always meet most incredible people. And most important in life is to be a sponge. A sponge absorbs everything. And what you do is when it's time to squeeze the waste, you know how to squeeze the waste out of the sponge and keep what's essential for you in your life to be able to continue on the right path, one that fits your lifestyle and your beliefs. So, being a sponge, what I did was when I opened up my store, like many others, I didn't have much money. I remember I sold my car for $12,000, and I bought a little bit of silver at the time. It was 1996, and I put first class in security at a jewelry exchange in Hollywood, Florida. And I didn't have even money for displays. So what I did was I went to Home Depot and I bought some bricks, and I created the Coliseum in one of the showcases.
Oh,
And then I went to Toys R Us at the time, and I bought a train station, and I put the train station, that fell over as it was being robbed
oh, that's clever.
yes. And I took another showcase and I turned it into aquarium. And what I did, I put a, uh, a tarantula in one of them, and it was creative. And then I took silver and I displayed it inside the showcases. And then when people would walk around, they would just stop and take pictures because it was just so creative.
Yeah.
And then you start a conversation, and really the main focus when I started was the store. I was 19 years old. I wanted to make one client a day. And I realized, you know what, if I make one client a day, it's 365 clients a year.
Wow.
I said, then I can get myself a nice book of clients and then, continue on. And whenever you shoot for one, and I would say today, I mean, in retrospect, I would say never say one client a day. Always shoot for the stars. Never cap yourself with how many clients per day.
100%.
But you know what? It worked, thank God. And we are here where we are today. And the jewelry store flourished. From there, from the jewelry exchange, slowly I made money, and some of the, the
And you got into gold and diamonds and watches after
correct.
that?
It was originally with silver, and then some of the wholesalers just got to like me, and they,
Trusted
just
you.
a hardworking kid,
Mm-hmm.
and they put stuff on consignment, and then I started selling more and more. And then, when you sit, I guess in everything, the worst part is to be complacent, because when you're complacent, there's no growth. So, when you're sitting in a jewelry exchange and you're selling and you look around and you have 50, 60 other vendors that are selling the same thing as what you're selling, and
What makes you different?
not even about what makes you different. It's where do you want to be when you're their age? I'm 19.
Because they were all a lot older.
Some of them are 45, some of them are 50. And you say to yourself, do I really want to set up and break down a showcase for the rest of my life? So there has to be an end goal. So I said, you know what? Every dollar that I'm going to make, I'm going to buy real estate. And what I did was I took every single penny that I made and I bought properties around my area.
Wow. So what year was the first year that you bought your first property?
What
property was it?
So first property, I was 19 years old. When I was 19, I bought my first house. I put $11,000 down.
Wow.
After the first year, and I bought my first house. It wasn't expensive. It was $76,000.
Wow.
And
what can you get today for $76,000?
Even $76,000 back in 1996 was a lot of money.
Of course.
But it was $76,000. Thank God I was able to afford the mortgage. And, since I sold my car, I leased a couple of cars, just to get by. At the time, my younger brother lived with me and he was still going to high school.
Wow.
So, with that being said, it was just being consistent, being focused. It's what brings you to success. When you have a goal and nothing can deter you from that goal, deviate you from the path that you're going, and you have a clear vision of what you need in order to succeed, nothing can stop you.
What made you get into development? So you bought real estate, you bought houses, you bought apartments, you bought shopping centers, but what made you get into development? What gave you that desire to want to get into development? Did you even know anything about development when you got into it?
No, but I didn't know anything about development as per se, but it's like, when you get thrown into the ocean, you learn how to swim,
I mean, it's not such an easy ocean to swim in.
It's not. So, the amount of stress that one can endure is the level of success that one can achieve. Meaning in life, it's all about how much pressure can you really take. There's a lot of people that have a breaking point that's, very, very short, and
Right.
they break, I can't handle it. I have too much on my plate. I can't this. I mean, I don't need to tell you, you're around drama queens all day long, I'm sure,
Yeah,
it's like,
100%.
yeah, same thing with women, oh my God, my kid is driving me crazy. It's this, it's that. Otherwise, you have other women that have 6, 7 children.
Right.
That it's a breeze.
100%.
And how do you do it? How do you do it? It's not how you do it. When you approach everything with ease, with love, and with care, and understanding that this is what I got to do.
Right.
Then that's what you can handle. You can give that same person an additional 4 kids, and it's nothing to them. But the one that has 1 kid or 2 kids, they just can't handle it. So
that character that you need in order to get into development, it's a non-quitting type of character. Like, I'm willing to do whatever it takes, get my hands dirty, do whatever it takes.
100%. Always understanding, there's, how do I give, in the diamond industry, you have clarity, color, cost, and cut, right? You have the 4 C's. We'll call it 3 C's, but 4 C's.
Right.
And the thing is that you say to yourself, what makes, people say, how do you know if you're going to build here, it's going to be successful? And the thing is that if you look around, you drive around, you say, okay, if I'm giving you a better product with better service at better rates,
in the same location,
and what's the reason for me not to succeed? So
because a lot of people, like, I mean, I know you're developing a lot in Griffin, but not a lot of people got into it. They left Griffin very old. They didn't think to redevelop shopping centers that were older there. They left them there. And then I think once you started developing, you started to see Wendy's popping up and all these different, areas and different shopping centers all of a sudden wanting to revamp. So I
Well,
guess you set precedents in that area.
well, I think it's not even just Griffin. Whenever you want to develop, you want to find a niche.
Mhm.
Because, to say to yourself, to run around like a chicken without a head and say, oh, I just found a property over here and, I want to develop it here. What do you know about the area?
Right.
What market research have you done? Who lives there? What type of demographic lives there? What's your target? Looking at statistics and graphs and all that, it's all nice and dandy. I said, but I can assure you that doesn't work.
Right.
I said, we're in operational businesses where we have hotel managements that came and want to run our hotels. And, bottom line is that they have, they give the general managers a budget. What's a budget? How do you create my budget?
Right.
The budget, you have to say to yourself,
So
the budget is
let's
zero.
hold on. Let's
Yeah.
talk about the hotel.
Sorry.
So you built the hotel ground up in Hollywood.
Correct.
What happened? Like, you bought the land. Tell me about this land. Tell me how you did it from start to finish.
So what happened is that I bought the shopping center right next to it, from three very nice gentlemen, Italian gentlemen, and it's across the street from the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino. And we were going to develop that particular property into a 17-story building. And as we started doing some market research, we were going to get the adjacent property next to it, which at the time was it was just a swampland. And
so it's filled with water.
Yeah, it was filled with water and it wasn't able to be developed. So what I did was we mitigated it with the county, and we came under the percentage of that they allowed us to fill it in. We filled it in. The owner is an incredible gentleman who's a good friend of mine till today, and I asked to rent it for 99-year lease. So we did a 99-year lease on the property, and 99-year lease is pretty much just like owning
right.
property.
I mean, for your generation for sure, and then
Correct.
probably the generation to come.
And we went to the city, and the city allowed us to put a 100-room hotel over there. So, I mean, the views are incredible. Everything's incredible. So to say that the intention was originally to build a hotel there, I would tell you no.
Right.
But, sometimes things lead you into a certain direction that you find yourself, okay, this is the better way to go. I'm not going to develop my property yet. I'll develop on this and later on develop on mine. And then, again, sorry for jumping from, one to the other, but, and then you find yourself, I need to find a niche. You understand that the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino, they build a $2+ billion guitar, and they got approvals for 3 more casinos that are coming up, and a lot of,
so it's really doing your research, just like when you buy a stock. Before you buy the stock, you do research.
Correct.
You see what's going on. You look at the news. You see everything behind it.
And don't let anybody tell you what you can and can't do, because most limitations that people set, whether you can and can't, is limitations that they have on themselves. If somebody tells you, no, you can't do that, it's because they can't do it, not because you can't do it.
Right.
Because nobody knows what you can and can't do, only you do. So one I guess the biggest lesson is, having confidence, understanding what you're worth, giving everything you have in anything that you do, making things exciting, understanding that, having a clear concept of what the area needs, what the area wants, what the area, what's necessary for the area, and just moving forward with it.
Incredible. So you told us a little bit about what you do. You told us about your history, about the way you grew up and everything like that. Tell me, how many projects do you have going on simultaneously?
Well, we have many projects, but current projects under construction, under planning and zoning, under review, under construction documents in the city for plan approvals. We have about 9 at the moment.
Wow. Can you tell me a little bit about them?
Sure.
Where they're located? What kind of...
Tell you about a few of them, absolutely. So we acquired about a year and a half ago a Sears in Ocala at the Paddock Mall. And it was 140,000 square feet with a Sears Automotive, which is a separate building. We rented the automotive to a medical company. We rented part of the Sears building itself to Restaurant Depot, which is a great tenant, and about 100,000 square foot of it. What we're doing is we're doing the Paddock Market.
Oh, very cool.
Paddock Market is it's the new version of the flea markets. Everybody knows the flea markets. Some people are saying, nah, not for me, not this. So we decided to do is just to give an elevated experience of the new 2024
Amazing
flea market, and it's just more of an artisan market. And what it is, it's inside.
It's kind of like a bazaar. Very
It's
cool.
like a bazaar, but everyone gets. It's called micro stores. So everyone gets about 350 square feet of glass stores with their own door entrance.
That is
You
not a
lock
flea
it at night.
market.
It's not a flea market. So what it does is it just complements the mall. So
Okay.
if a mall entry is $150 a square foot, for us it's about $25 a foot to get in. But what you're doing is that the reason why you say
Because you can rent it to any tenant.
you
Why
can
would
rent
you?
it to
Why
any.
would you decide to do this? It's like additional headache to you.
It is additional headache to me, but what it does is that when you have always from an operational business, you can bring a lot more than bringing it for one tenant. We bought the place very, very inexpensive, and this is what differentiates us between us and other developers. Other developers would leave it empty. We put together a group of investors,
Right.
and they would just wait until a tenant comes. And you probably negotiate today probably about $6 plus CAM because it's a big box. It's 100,000 square feet. And your return would be, 10, 11, 12%, whatever it is. And they'll be happy with it.
Right.
The investors gets their preferred, plus they do a little split over that. And, everybody's happy. They walk away. Thank God it was a home run.
Right.
But we're not happy with that. That's for the lazy developer. We like to be more hands-on, dive into everything that we do. So we say, okay, if we take a space like this one, remember when you have a market, you have a lot more stability. Because now you've just spread your risk between 100 different tenants.
Correct.
So if 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 leave.
How big is the space?
It's 100,000 square feet.
Wow.
And why did we buy the Sears at Paddock Market? And so first of all, the profit is in the purchase. That's I'm sure everybody knows it. Every developer knows it. I mean, not every developer knows it because sometimes, you have to understand, when everything goes up, you're a genius. But what happens when things go down?
Right.
Then you find out the difference between who's good and who's not good. Things that anybody can buy, a monkey can buy. The thing is that you have to know. No, the thing is, and that's what it is. Oh, I just bought $100 million. Who cares what you bought for $100 million?
Right. Yes, you have plenty
of course, if
developers
the market goes up, you're a genius. But now what happens when you're dealing with high interest rates? What are you doing when we're dealing with expensive insurance costs? So, how many people are giving back their properties to the bank? So the thing is that how do you create stability? And when we buy the Sears Paddock Mall, we bought it at $22 a foot. You can't build for that price.
Right.
The cost of construction today is about $170 a foot. So
even if market crashes,
well, if you multiply 140,000 square feet times $170 a foot, you're over $25 million. So you have to say to yourself, okay,
and you acquired this shopping center for how much?
For $3.2 million.
Wow.
So everything is in the purchase. So,
right.
How did we find ourselves in Paddock? We didn't. Paddock found us.
How do you find your properties? Do you have like a realtor that finds your properties? Do you guys search like everybody else on LoopNet? Do you look on auctions? What do you do? Or you don't want to tell us your secret?
No, you know what? What belongs to you comes to you.
Right.
It's not about chasing. There's deals all the time. When I always pray, I said, God, I don't want every deal. I just want the deals that'll be good for me. And the thing is, it's at every deal that I get or whatever, I put in, whether it's an auction or anything, and I go to the property, I always do my prayers at the property. And I say, God, if somebody here was before me that wants to buy the place and they pray to you, give it to them. They deserve it.
Amazing.
But if they didn't, and it's good for me, then give it to me. And, it's not about the chase. It's not about ego. I bought it. I didn't buy it. It's about saying, is this going to make me money? Right. I'm going to put the next 3, 4, 5 years of my life into a project. I want to make sure that it's going to make me money.
100%.
This tree needs to produce fruit.
Right. Especially that you have investors as well. So you have the development side of your business and you also have the investment side of your business. So can you tell me, let's say somebody wants to start investing. I know a lot of people that have asked me, they say, listen, I have $1 million. What can I invest my money in? So how do they get into it with you?
So the thing is, it's, you know, investors always want to find a deal. Where can I put my money? Because it's almost like a business. Because if
Of
somebody has an
course.
operational business and they have money constantly saved aside, they say, okay, I don't want the money to sit in the bank. What do I do with the money? Where am I going to put it? For us, it's extremely um, important to make sure that the deal that we find makes sense.
Right.
And not just to jump into any deal because investor says, hey, I'm looking to buy something. What can I buy? When the deal comes, we'll call you. It might be sometimes the right time. It might
Right.
not be the right time,
Right.
but it's the right time for us to buy the
So you've had
property.
people that say, listen, I have $1 million. Can you invest it in one of your projects? But
If I
you
don't
don't
have a
have the right
project,
project
then
for
I
them.
say I apologize. At the moment, I don't have.
Right.
It's not about just say, oh, yeah, I have something. No.
And do you feel that every project is right for every investor?
No, because some projects take a little bit longer, and some people don't want to wait.
Right.
Some projects ground up can take 5 to 7 years. Excuse me, from ground up, and some people it's not for them. If you're in your 70s or 75, you might not want to wait 5 to 7 years. You might want to say, you know what, I want shopping centers that are ready, that in a year and a half I can already start bringing cash flow. So
for those that are investing in projects that are ground up that takes 5 to 7 years, they don't see any return on their investment until the project is completely finished.
correct. And then once we have passive income that comes in, then we pay the preferred that we promised. After we pay the preferred, once the preferred is paid, we refi. Once it's stabilized, we'll give you back your original investment.
Wow.
And then it's considered infinite return because you're making an income
with no
investment.
with no risk.
And then the idea, if you want to continue with us, you can. If you don't, you don't have to. If you need the money for something else. But the thing is that, with every investment, there's so many developers and so many people and podcasts and people saying, but I do this,
Right.
and they send. And
what would make somebody, say, you know what, I want to invest with Sharon and Guy and BSC Capital? What would give you the upper hand when somebody comes to you?
there's no upper hand. Everything in life is relationship. It's your comfort level that you feel with us. Believe it or not, my partner, Guy Levantine, when we have an investment, he tries to deter you from investing with us because he wants to,
He wants to see how bad you want to invest.
No, the thing is that you have to understand investment. There is a risk in everything. There's a risk in us waking up and, stepping foot outside our house. But the thing is that there is risks. And as much as we try to mitigate those risks, there are still risks. So my partner is the first one to tell you, listen, I'm not going to, paint you a picture that everything is, rainbows. I'm going to paint you a picture that, this could happen. However, we are protecting ourselves by doing this. Everything is diversification. So anything that we do, and when we buy something,
which is why you do like that paddock market, for example, and
correct.
You don't wait for one tenant to
No,
put all your eggs in one basket. 100%. You kind of spread it out.
And we wouldn't have bought it if it wouldn't have been at that price.
Right.
So, and that's with everything, it's.
And you've done that before with the market.
Yes, we have. We've done that before as well. We've done it in Sarasota, which is incredible, and it's more of a Spanish market for the Spanish community, which is incredible. It's thriving. And it's beautiful. We have about 17 restaurants there as well, with also about.
So it's mostly food.
Yeah, we have about 100 also retail vendors as well. It's an incredible market, and the thing is that it's all indoor because we know what we're faced with in South Florida with the rain and weather.
Yeah.
That when you do it all indoor, you're able to utilize 365 days of the year.
Is that something you guys would bring to South Florida?
Property is too expensive here to bring to South Florida, but we're going to bring to South Florida much, much better items, muchly needed.
You've gone into culinary experiences, into restaurants. Are you doing a lot more of that?
Yeah. So we realized, a niche that is necessary in our area in Hollywood, Florida, next to the Hard Rock Casinos on 441. We opened up our first rooftop restaurant and lounge, G7, which thank God is doing amazing.
It's incredible.
Incredible. You've been there, right?
Yes.
Several times. It's
Food is great. Ambiance is great. Everything is great.
The thing is that today, it's like anything. You have to have an open mind. You say, okay, if I'm going to open up a restaurant, what differs me from any other restaurant?
Right.
So differentiates me from other restaurants. And the thing is that if you're going to take me out of the house to go eat, I want ambiance. I want entertainment. Sure. I want view. I want a feel. I want to be able to get an experience that I can't get anywhere else.
And that's not just in the kosher culinary
No,
restaurants. It's
that's
more
a
of like in anything. I think
uh,
even if you don't eat kosher, or if you eat outside or whatever other
for
restaurants,
sure.
even in South Beach, there is no view. You're going into restaurants that made the decor beautiful and the food is overpriced.
It's okay
Yeah, no,
if
for sure. And
if
100%. But here, yes, you definitely get a view and
look.
I get it.
I
You
tell
get a
you,
different experience.
when we say food is overpriced, it's cost of operation is extremely expensive. There's a lot of the back end that goes on that people don't understand. Just to create everything, when people create the nightlife, is an art.
Hmm.
You might look at a painting and say, oh, what is this painting? About $2 million, $5 million, whatever it might be. But it's an art. Acting is an art. Singing is an art. Professional basketball is an art. Soccer, tennis, basketball. It's an art. People become great at the skill that they do. And the same thing with nightlife and entertainment. When somebody's making sure that when you go out, you don't have to think about anything, just to come and enjoy and have a good time, you have to say to yourself, what is it worth?
Right.
And not what am I paying? Am I worth that? And the thing is that, are you worth to go out and to spend on yourself $150, $200, $300 per person
Right.
on a night out with your husband, with your friends? And the question is that you have to decide whether it's worth it for you
For
and
sure.
where you want to go. So
It's not
it,
something you're going to do every night, but to have an outing,
a hun-
a beautiful outing, yes, it's absolutely worth it.
100%.
You go to
So,
a concert, it costs you more than that.
correct. So, for us, it's more, to understand what the consumer needs and to give him the product that he needs and deserves for the night out that he's going out.
Hmm.
Not everything is perfect.
Right.
There's a lot of trial and error in everything that you do in life. But most important is that you try to give the best. You always try, you never settle. You never become complacent. You always want to say, okay, how do I up always? And it's not about your competition.
Right.
How do I make myself better than I was yesterday? And we always constantly look for more entertainment and to make it really to bring the Vegas nightlife and shows
To
to
South Florida.
Hollywood, to South Florida
Amazing.
on the 441 corridor, which is going to be the next Vegas Strip. So
God willing, for
we're going to
sure.
be the pioneers of that.
Amazing. And you have more restaurants coming up?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah. We have
Okay.
incredible Mexican restaurants coming up called Puya. We have another venue that's rooftop called Utopia, with another incredible Mediterranean restaurant called Basilica.
Wow.
So we're excited. There's going to be
That's
a lot of
amazing.
fun, good food, good
We need it. We
entertainment, good
need it in South
atmosphere.
Florida. We need it, especially in this time with everything that's going on in the world. We need a little bit of happiness and liveliness for sure.
There's it's always, people say, you only live once. It's not about you only live once. It's about living a good and balanced life.
Right.
And we're trying to, everything that we do, whether it's our hotels or apartment buildings or shopping centers, is to create a place that whenever you're coming to Kush Collection, to any one of our properties, to any one of our hotels, any one of our restaurants, any one of our establishments, you know that you're going to get quality.
Amazing. And that's what you guys guarantee. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Adi. Thank you.
I
For
know
being
that
on your podcast.
we have a lot more to talk about, and we're
Oh,
going to
for
be
sure.
doing episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, probably get
Not
to
a
10.
problem. Not a problem.
Because I know that we're going to have a lot of questions after today's podcast. So we will need you to answer those questions.
No problem at all. I'll tell you everything that you need to know. Also, when we get down all to the interior designers of every single building that we do.
We cannot wait.
Because it's all us.
For sure. I love it. Thank you guys so much. And we'll check you guys out again on We're in the Biz.
Thank you.